What are your thoughts on the first mini-sensation in science from India's lunar mission? At the end of August 2023, the first research results were released. The moon's surface temperature is much higher than expected. Share your impressions of the information in the comments. It turns out the reality is that there's a lot we don't yet know. Not only about our planet's satellite, but also about what's happening to our home. The climate continues to deal devastating blows to various countries. From late August through early September, dozens of large-scale natural disasters occurred. Storms have replaced the abnormal heat in Europe. On August 26th, a severe hailstorm caused significant damage in Bavaria, southern Germany. At least 12 people were injured in the town of Yichang.
First, the lights went off, then there was a very loud noise. After that, we looked outside, and that's when I saw and heard the ceiling collapse. Then water rushed from the walls, from the roof, and it was hailing outside.
Then maybe we need to convey to them the scale of today's climate catastrophe. That's why today we were throwing tennis balls, painted white, the size of hailstones that have been falling from the sky in Bavaria in recent days, threatening lives and destroying crops, to show the Bavarian state government in particular, and to all the people of Germany, that the climate catastrophe has become a reality, and it is time for the government to act.
Cyclone Poppaea struck northern Italy on August 26th. In Lombardy, hurricane winds uprooted trees, tore roofs off houses and crushed cars. The next day in Genoa, Liguria region, about 200 millimeters of precipitation fell in 24 hours, with wind gusts reaching speeds of more than 111 miles per hour. On the same day, the storm hit the Balearic Islands. The island of Majorca was hit hardest by the storm. The wind, with gusts of up to 75 miles per hour, easily lifted into the air everything in its path. As a result, trees were toppled, cars were damaged, windows of buildings were smashed out and streets were flooded. At the same time, a storm brought heavy rains to France. A huge landslide occurred in the Savoie department. A mass of rocks collapsed onto a concrete barrier that had been built there to protect a highway. On August 27th, heavy rains caused floods and landslides in vast areas of Tajikistan, resulting in the loss of more than 10 lives. Meanwhile, in China, residents of Yichang in Hubei Province were affected by floods. Due to the massive accumulation of water, people were literally trapped in their homes and cars. On the same day, the Colombian Geological Service reported an increase in activity at the Nevado del Ruiz volcano and observed another ash eruption. In addition, on social media a video was posted in which eyewitnesses captured the collapse of a mountainside onto a medieval monastery in Georgia. On August 28th, a powerful storm Ria struck Corsica, causing the loss of one life. Hurricane winds and tornadoes swept through the Istria region of Croatia, while in Italy several regions in the north of the country were hit by the storm and flooding. The situation was similar in Austria, where floods lasted for several more days. Meanwhile, the ongoing forest fires in Greece this summer have been labeled as the deadliest in Europe. On the same day, a deep focus earthquake of 7.1 magnitude occurred near Indonesia. Fortunately, it happened in the sea, so residents of nearby regions felt only a mild tremor. But the residents of Cuba and West Virginia in the United States were much less fortunate. Tropical storm Idalia left more than 200,000 consumers without electricity and caused flooding in western Cuba. Meanwhile, a state of emergency was declared in several West Virginia counties due to excessive rainfall. On August 29th, a new wave of floods occurred in Primorsky Krai of Russia. The extreme flood led to the isolation of 21 towns and the evacuation of more than 1,000 residents. The disaster left behind destroyed bridges, damaged roads and flooded houses. At the same time, on the opposite side of the country, in Krasnodar Krai, forest fires engulfed Gelendzhik, covering an area of approximately 120 hectares. And several European countries have replaced summer landscapes with an icy blanket. Strong winds with hail struck some regions of Poland and Germany. In the ski resort of Zermatt, in Switzerland, snow fell, despite the anomalous heat just a couple of days prior. And the event in the town of Erzincan, Turkey, shocked not only the residents who had to flee from raging mudslides, but also everyone who saw the footage. On August 29th and 30, some areas of Romania were flooded, while tornadoes and hurricane-force winds tore off roofs and toppled trees. In another part of the world, Hurricane Idalia continued its destructive march and reached the coast of Florida in the United States on August 30th. Georgia and South Carolina were hit next. The gusts of hurricane wind reached a speed of more than 133 miles per hour. In total, more than 280,000 consumers were left without electricity. The storm surge on the coast of the so-called Big Bend of Florida exceeded 2 meters. Entire neighborhoods were flooded. Among other things, it was noted that in the entire history of observations, no strong hurricane had ever passed through the Appalachia Bay. Idalia became the first. Earlier, Typhoon Goring, internationally known as Saula, raged for several consecutive days near the coast of the Philippines. As of August 30th, nearly 200,000 people in 7 regions of Luzon and the Visayas Islands had been affected directly or indirectly by the typhoon. After the typhoon subsided, heavy rains fell in Manila, the capital of the Philippines, on August 31st. On the same day in Mexico, in the city of Guadalajara, some neighborhoods were flooded to the extent that the water almost reached the roofs of cars. On September 1st, another round of storms shook the areas of California and Nevada in the United States that were still recovering from Tropical Storm Hillary. A substantial amount of rainfall, by local standards, fell in the Coachella Valley in the south of California state. In southern Nevada, intense precipitation led to flash floods in Las Vegas. Over 6,000 people were left without electricity. More than 60,000 attendees of the Burning Man Contemporary Art Festival were stranded in the Black Rock Desert in Nevada after torrential rain turned the event site into a muddy mess. On the same day, a storm cyclone swept over the territory of Paraguay. It was accompanied by hail in several departments and damaged houses, as well as plantations of cassava and other crops. In Indonesia, a fire broke out on the slopes of the Suming volcano. Many tourists, who were climbing the mountain, had to be evacuated urgently. Late in the evening of September 1st, Typhoon Saula entered the coastal waters of Hong Kong. The local observatory reported winds with a maximum sustained speed of 121 miles per hour and a record storm surge that exceeded the norm by almost 4 meters. Due to this, the highest hurricane warning signal, intended for the most extreme storms, was issued. In Hong Kong, 75 people suffered injuries of varying severity. The next day, Saula reached southern China. It caused damage to buildings, roads and urban communications. In Zhangjiao City, Fujian Province, the severe flooding has left many residents without communications and sustenance. Meteorologists have already labeled this typhoon as the most severe in the last 70 years. On the same day, the state of Arizona, USA, was hit by a powerful sandstorm. Despite warnings, the forces of nature caught many Americans off guard. In Europe, heavy hail and rain caused flash floods in the cities of Mirandela and Valpacos, Portugal. Some people still believe that all the catastrophes happening on the planet are a man-made process, or that the anthropogenic factor is the cause of everything. If you are interested to know about the facts that refute these theories, as well as the true causes of the growing climate crisis, write about it in the comments.